I met Sheena Bora in the year 2012, right ahead of her disappearance in Guwahati in Assam. So I was attending the wedding of a friend's younger sister who happened to be a very close friend of Sheena. So this friend of mine introduced me to her, saying, "This is Sheena. She's the daughter of Indrani Mukherjea." And at that time, I happened to be working as an anchor with NewsX of the INX News Media Limited. The owners of that media network were Indrani and Peter Mukherjee. So obviously, the introduction was that she's Indrani's daughter, and I was like, okay, I did not know Indrani had family in Guwahati because I recalled her telling us in one of our casual meetings when the channel was being set up that she has a daughter and her name is Vidhi. They live in Bombay, so I didn't know she had kids from her previous marriage in Guwahati. However, that was not information that I thought I should carry or talk about in any way. So it remained with me. But when news broke about Sheena Bora's murder, and when it first came out as Indrani's sister, I think I was among the first people who activated in the news networks in Bombay that this is not true. At that time, my editor, my boss was Arnab Goswami. So I texted Arnab saying something is wrong. She is Indrani's daughter. I met her in Guwahati. And then started this whole thing of, uh, confirmation, reconfirmation. Police statement says sister. So initially the channel decided to go with the police version. Then the truth, of course, came out. Now, why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this with regards to the docu-series on Sheena Bora's murder that has come out on Netflix. So, what are my two bits on this representation of the story? I think it is giving a platform to Indrani to speak her side of it. And she's tried her level best to sound convincing, to make it appear as if she is the one who is wronged in all of this. I mean, the whole world is against her. Her first husband, her second husband, who is, of course, allegedly an accomplice in the crime, her children, her third husband, Peter Mukherjee, everyone, the way she told the story, it seemed everyone took turns to turn against her. And she played the victim card in this entire docu-series, and she played it well. Uh, to the extent that, when you have that ability to speak in a certain manner, often people get convinced because you have that power of persuasion, even though in this case, despite her best efforts to build a strong narrative in her favor, things were falling apart. Things were just not adding up. She says things like, I've had three children, so I have three scars in my body. How could Peter Mukherjee not know that I had children from previous marriage? He's lying. So those kind of things. I mean, if you have three C-sections, while having a kid, it is not necessary there will be three scars. I mean, anybody who's had children knows that. So those kind of things which really did not add up for me at all, and for anybody for that matter, because the attempt to put across an Indrani who's humane, who's fallible, and she's been victimized, that attempt is there in this docu-series, which I did not quite like, because it seemed a very laborious attempt of, obviously, to bring her side of the story, that she could have been wronged. Even the defense lawyer who speaks in this docu-series almost like gives all the disclaimers before he speaks, saying, listen, it's my job, I'm paid to defend her, I'm defending her. It's not as if I really believe she hasn't done it. He says it in so many words. And when Indrani speaks, and when she talks about her childhood trauma, she probably expects people to understand that the way she became very cutthroat, very competitive, wanting to make it in life, has something to do with the fact that she got a raw deal as a child. She was raped by her own father. All of that was spoken with great candor. In fact, it's almost unbelievable that you're able to do so. I've not heard a more candid expression of someone's rape experience, that too by your own father. So there are very painful parts, of course, which are being exposed of, especially when Mikhail speaks. I think parts of it is quite heartrending to see that the children were abandoned and they were hankering for their mother. And when they actually arrived in Bombay, what was the experience that they went through? That part of the story seems very authentic to me. And I'm not supporting one side or the other, I'm just saying that it seemed very real. That part did add up for me. So, net net, what am I trying to say? I'm just trying to say that here is a case which is sub judice, but here is a case which is crystal clear who is guilty here and what could have happened. A highly ambitious woman, desperate to rise the social ladder, wanting to get everything done her way and not tolerating anything that obstructs her rise. That streak was very visible in Indrani. But then when her daughter arrives in the scene, and she says it in the docu-series that she had every quality that I had in terms of being ambitious and in terms of being a go-getter. So her own daughter became the biggest threat to her existence, to her sustaining her wealth and power. So when she realized that if there's only one person who can bring her downfall, and that is Sheena Bora, she had to get rid of her. Because either she would have to succumb to Sheena or Sheena would have to succumb to her. It was very clear because Sheena started flexing her muscles. Sheena started behaving like, I have arrived in the scene and I'm not letting this go. She was dating Peter Mukherjee's son. She was now rearing to be the next Mrs. Mukherjee, and Indrani would not have that. She wanted to be the reigning queen and she was not willing to relinquish territory to her daughter, who she thought that she had actually, uh, in a way, she helped come to Bombay, sustained her, gave her that sort of a platform, and the moment she came on her feet, she decided to turn against her mother. That was probably the narrative in Indrani's mind, that I gave you everything that it took for you to get out of Assam from Guwahati to come all the way here. And the moment you get here, the moment you get on your feet, you decide to take me down, I will not have any of it. So there were fights, there were constant conflicts. But clearly, Indrani realized that she's now standing at a position where either she goes down or her daughter goes down. And then we all know who went down in the bargain. Thanks for watching.